Hello everyone. Now that your exams got over, let us have the discussion of English section which you had for the exam. We'll start with the first question first, and we will discuss the answers which are correct and why the answers which you have chosen might have gone wrong, and I'll be telling you why those things have gone wrong. Okay. So before we start, let me tell you one or two things which are really important, especially for such exams, especially when you deal with English section. Two things. The first thing is that do not jump into conclusion and choose the wrong answer. Instead, clear instructions are given for each question. So whatever the question demands of you, you have to understand that in a better way. Only after that you have to choose. Okay. And then the second thing actually which is most important, and that is you should know a little bit of grammar, basic grammar plus vocabulary. Why? Because most of the questions are based on basic grammar structure. Okay, so without knowing that, I don't think you'll be able to handle it properly. So that is your homework. That is you should be aware of basic structure or grammatical principles before we or before you go for such competitive exams and you deal with English section. Okay, now coming to the first question, which is of course based on grammar. It's given like this. For questions 1 to 5, you have to fill it up with the most appropriate choice. It's of course based on grammar. Okay. So here, I don't dash create controversies. That is a question. And the correct answer is, I don't purposely create controversies. See why you have chosen purposely. The reason is, first of all, when you get such questions, out of the options which you have been given, the option which is least possible or which according to you is not at all possible, you can strike it off so that you can choose from the 3 which are left out. This is not applicable for all questions, but in certain questions, especially like this. Okay, so here this spelling is wrong, so you can strike it off. So your task becomes a bit more easier and you can choose from first, second and third option, A, B and C. So why we cannot choose purpose and purposeful? The reason is, for this question you need an adverb. See, the question is, I don't create. Create is a verb, and whatever describes or whatever word you use to describe a verb, that should be an adverb. So here the adverb is purposely. This is a noun form. It could also be used as verb, and this is again noun form. So this is purposely is the adverb form which you require for this answer. Okay. Now the next question is, he dash here since 2019. See, whenever you come across such questions where you have the points like since or for, there is no doubt, keep it firm in your mind that you have to use present perfect continuous tense. Has been teaching. Present perfect continuous tense must be used for since and for. For example, I have been teaching there for 5 years now. So for period of time we use for 5 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. And if you have the exact time point like since 2019, since 2020 or since morning, since afternoon, since 1 o'clock, whenever you have exact point of time you use since, and when you have period of time, duration of time, you use for. But be it for or since, there is no doubt regarding the choice of tense, that must be present perfect continuous tense. So this is the correct answer. A is the correct answer. Okay, I guess you might have got it right. Then the third is this one is a dash hit. Haven't you come across such statements whenever you speak about movies, right? We say that okay, it's a big hit, it's a mega hit, it's a super duper hit, and it's a universal hit. So universal, that is the term which you have to use. And this also, in terms of grammar, why we chose that universal, the reason is, see the word hit, okay, so that requires an adjective. That noun requires an adjective. So here the adjective is universal. So definitely you can choose that. And see, for other options, you cannot choose universe, uno and numero. So actually, you know what, like these two terms, numero, uno, it's combined together. Very often when we use that in a sentence, we use it as numero uno, which means number 1. So these things are not used separate, just like how it is given in the option. So definitely you cannot choose all those things. You have to go for universal. Okay. Now the fourth one is, I would rather you dash a song than told us. So here you may get a bit confused. Why? Because many of you might not be familiar with the structure of sentence. See, I'll tell you another example without using that word you used here. See, whenever we make choices or preferences, we use or else we tell it like this, we say it like this: I would rather go to Delhi than Mumbai. I would rather visit Mumbai than Delhi. That means I have made a choice and I tell you what my choice is. Okay. But here, since you have got another word added to it, that is the word you cannot use that structure. Instead, you have to go for a particular rule of grammar according to which I would rather you plus simple past tense of the verb. It is a must. Learn it by heart. So whenever you come across I would rather and you added to that, you is there, no doubt you have to add simple past tense with it to make it a complete sentence. And here the simple past tense is of course sang. So this is the rule. Even if you use a simple past tense, this is just one additional information that I'm giving you. See, this simple past tense is used in the structure, in the sentence, but it does not denote an action which had happened in the past. That is the most ridiculous part of it. See, we have used simple past tense to complete the sentence with the structure, but actually it denotes an action which happens either in the present or it may happen in the future. Okay, so that is what you call complexities of grammar. Okay. So the correct option is sang, since you have to follow the structure. I would rather you plus always simple past tense. So simple past tense of sing is sang. Other forms, this is continuous form and that is past participle form, which you cannot take. Okay. Now next is after having sought my help dash. So be careful with such structures also. This is actually a clause. You might have heard of main clause, subordinate clause, etc., etc. Okay, so this is a subordinate clause. Okay, and you need a main clause to complete it, and only one sensible main clause is given as option, and that is the first one. This is how you complete the sentence. This is how you complete the clause. After having sought my help, my friend left me all alone. So always remember, in a compound sentence, this is an example of compound sentence. When you complete it, we have two clauses, okay, and both are related to each other. One will be the main clause, another one will be subordinate clause. So here also this is subordinate and this is the main clause, and other options cannot be taken, especially these two options will change the meaning of the sentence. So for that reason you can completely strike it off. And then why you cannot choose the second option, the reason is this is example of passive voice, not clause. So that also could be cancelled and only one option is left out, and that is the first one. Now the next question is from questions 6 to 8. You have to identify the pair of words which has a kind of relation. You get such questions for almost all the competitive exams, right? So here again you have to do one thing, that whatever is given as example or the model, you have to understand the relationship between the two of those words. Only after that you will be able to choose the one which you really require. Okay, for example here, pilgrim and shrine, it's a matching pair. So similar matching pair must be chosen, almost similar. See, a pilgrim finally reaches shrine. Exactly same way, the correct answer is a traveler finally reaches his or her destination. So in that sense, the most appropriate pair which is matching, where the words are matching or related to each other very closely, that is traveler and destination. Other items, it's completely opposite. Sometimes it is opposite, like war and peace opposite, flight and escape, accident, injury. Not always the outcome or destination or the purpose of accident is to get injured, right? So anyways, here since a pilgrim's final point or aim or motive is to reach shrine, exactly same way a traveler's final motive or the point where he would like to reach is his destination. Okay. Now next is again you have to choose the I guess for this most of you will be getting the answer. It's very clearly given. Immigration, entrance. Just like immigration means entering, same matching word, of course it is immigration and departure. I guess you got the meaning without me explaining these things. See, immigration and entrance, what is the connection between the two? You immigrate means you reach a new land, you live there, you enter a new land. Okay, so that is immigration. Emigration means you leave to reach another land, you depart, you go away. So it's departure. So in that sense, exactly the same connection is between emigration and departure. So in that sense, you can choose that without any doubt. Next is mercury and fluid. This also, I guess you might have got it right. See, before I tell you what the correct answer is, which you might know, let us see all the options one by one. See, these three, feather, light, iron, heavy, sand, grainy, actually those points or else these features, these are features of the item. Features, characteristic features. For example, feather is light. Iron is heavy, that is its characteristic trait or feature. But this is the nature of fluid, that is the nature of mercury, not characters, not one of the features. Okay, exactly same way, oxygen is found in gaseous state, or that is its nature, exactly like mercury is found in fluid state. So that is the connection. So in that sense, this should be the correct answer. Okay. Next is, okay, this also I guess most of you might have got it right. Electricity is related to wire. Electricity runs through wire, exactly same way water runs through pipe. We are not asked about the source of water like river or where you store water, but it runs through, that motion. That is what we want, and that is pipe, most suitable. Okay. Next is safe is to secure. So in that sense, protect is to guard. I guess here also you may not need an explanation. It's very plain. Protect is not to lock something, not to be sure about something, not to conserve or preserve something, but it is to guard something. So in that sense, only one option is possible, that is guard. Okay. Next is add suitable prepositions. When you come across questions like this where you are asked to add suitable prepositions, see, the point is there are certain words which require exactly the preposition that is as per the rule of grammar. For example, I am reminded of my work, or I am reminded of the class which is to be held tomorrow. So reminded of, accused of, refrain from. So with certain words, there are exact prepositions that are to be used. In certain other cases, no preposition is required. Like the first one, see, very often we commit blunders when we speak and when we use the word resemble in sentences. Okay, very often we get confused and very often we get it mixed up and we use unknowingly we use some prepositions which are not required actually. See, with the word resembles, no preposition is required. It's bare without any preposition. Okay. So do not use any preposition with resembles. Very often we say that, okay, she resembles to her mother. That is wrong. In fact, you simply say she resembles her mother. The baby resembles its mother. He resembles his father. Okay, do not say he resembles to or resembles with. That is absolutely wrong. No preposition is required with the word resembles. Okay. Next is, I got my certification. So what will be the correct answer? I guess you might have got this right. These are all simple questions, very, very, very basic grammar. See here, haven't you come across certificates which you might have received in your life, like certificate of merit? Okay, certificate of character, certificate of good conduct, certificate of merit. So obviously it is of. You don't say that I got my certification on. That is wrong. Okay, to is of course wrong, obviously wrong. In also is wrong. Always with word certification or certificate, it's followed by the preposition of. Okay. Next is, this also is very easy, and it's like a preposition which we use in our daily life itself. Raju's birthday is dash August 16th. See, whenever you have a particular or specific date given and you're asked to add a preposition before that date, there is no doubt only one preposition is possible with date, and that is on, O-N, on. Okay, so the class is on 21st of July. The class commences on 22nd of June. So with specific date, month and date together, there is no doubt it is on. In fact, if you just say something about month and no date, you can use another preposition. For example, when I say that my birthday falls in the month of March, not on the month. But if I say my birthday is on, then I give the date like 5th March or 6th March or 7th March. It should be on. I have to use the term on. I have to use the preposition on. But if I just tell you something about the month, not the exact date, I can even use the term, I should use the term in, not on. My birthday is in the month of July or March, likewise I have to use. Okay, but with date always on. Okay. So this is the correct answer. Next is exactly how we use with date we use on. In the same way, with exact point of time we use at. But remember, here we have two blanks, right? So we have two blanks and the options are given with pair of two words or two prepositions each. In A option and C option both, you have the choice of writing at. At is given, which is applicable for the first blank. The meeting is at 9 a.m. So in that sense, you might get confused whether to use option number A or C. So in both the cases, we have the first choice given correct. Okay, but then what about the second choice? Please come dash time. So coming back to the first choice, please come at time is always wrong. Please come on time. This is a sentence which we use in our daily life, like be on time, come on time, like reach on time. So in that sense, where both the prepositions are a perfect match in the respective areas, in that sense, you have to choose option number C and not A. And nowhere else we have at in the first blank, right? So these are already skipped or cancelled. So out of these two choices, since the second preposition is not a match for the second blank, for the first option, this is cancelled. So we have to go for option number C, where both the prepositions are exactly matching to the respective blanks. Okay. Now the next is my father was annoyed dash me. It is obvious, annoyed with me. Okay. Just like we say I am angry with him. So angry, annoyed, with these two terms you can use if the object is a person. Suppose if here instead of me, if it is said that my father was annoyed dash my clothes. So not me but my clothes, then you should use the term by my clothes, annoyed by my clothes, where the object is an inanimate thing, not a person. But here, according to this question, it is object is a person. So in that sense, you cannot use and in fact there is no option like by here in the question. So obviously there is no doubt and there is no confusion. It's also like plain and obvious that you have to use the term with. Okay, so my father was annoyed with me. So exactly how you say my father was angry with me, in the same way you can say my father was annoyed with me. Okay. Next is identify the part of speech of the underlined words in given sentences. Parts of speech like noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, verb, etc., etc. So that's what I said in the beginning itself. Unless you have knowledge of basic grammar, you will not be able to identify such underlined things or underlined structures. Okay. So 16th question is the thing which has been underlined. Silently read your book. And options are given. Is it adjective? The underlined thing is silently. So the question is whether it is adjective, adverb, preposition or verb. So what is the technique to identify it? The technique is, see, whatever is underlined, okay, so before or after that you will have either a noun or a verb, right? So here, silently read your book. Read here is a verb. So the word which comes after the underlined structure is a verb. So obviously whatever or the words which say something or which qualifies or describes a verb, that would be an adverb. Suppose instead of this, if you had a noun, the words which qualify a noun, it would have been adjective. So here, since this underlined structure says or speaks something about a verb, it is obvious that it is an adverb. So the correct choice is adverb. The next is, please join us for the birthday party this afternoon. So it is very obvious and you are familiar with the structure. This is of course a pronoun. And what are pronouns? You should know what pronouns are. Pronouns are those words which we can use instead of nouns. For example, I say that Mrs. Sharma is my teacher. Mrs. Sharma teaches very well. Mrs. Sharma is also a very good cook. So likewise, if I, in the same paragraph or in my speech, if I repeatedly use the term Mrs. Sharma, that would sound awkward, isn't it? So instead of that second Mrs. Sharma, why can't I use the term she? She teaches as well, she cooks well, she's also a good cook, she has the hobby of reading books, cycling, etc. So in that sense, instead of repeating that noun, proper noun, Mrs. Sharma, I can skip that and I can replace it with a pronoun, and those words with which we replace a noun or proper noun, those are what you call pronouns. Okay, so please join us. The terms like we, us, I, me, his, her, all these are pronouns. So the correct option is us is a pronoun. Next is, a kindly person is one who behaves kindly. See, here you might have noticed one thing. The word kindly which have got underlined, that is used twice, isn't it? Maybe to confuse you, but then it is used twice, and to identify the exact part of speech, how to label it, you find out the first word kindly in the sentence, and this kindly is used before person, which means a noun. So here kindly, which is not underlined, this is not the question, but just I'm telling you this. This kindly, the first kindly is used before a person or before a noun. So this is obviously an adjective. Something which qualifies a noun is an adjective. She is a tall girl. Girl is a noun, tall is an adjective. So kindly person, that person has been described as kindly, that noun has been described with the word kindly, so it is an adjective. But what we require is the second word which has been underlined, the second kindly which has been underlined, and before kindly, what is given? The word behaves, and that is a verb. You remember that thing which I said, question number 16 also had the same rule applicable. Wherever you have a verb being described, it is adverb. If a noun is being, suppose instead of this, if this had been underlined, it would have been an adjective, but that option is not given. Okay, so anyways, now here it is a verb which has been described, so the option is, the correct answer is, it is an adverb. Okay, Next is next question. Place the books against like it's a printing error that you do not have the item underlined. Actually, this is the underlined structure which you have to identify. Place the books against the wall. You have to like identify it as whether it is interjection, noun, preposition, verb. Okay, these four options. Okay, of course it is not a verb. Okay, it is not an interjection. What is interjection? Interjection means say those words with which we try to exclaim. You know exclamatory sentences, right? So when we have exclamatory sentences, when we write exclamatory sentences, there are certain expressions which we use to make it exclamatory sentence. For example, hooray, we won. So the word hooray. Wow, that's absolutely lovely. Wow, that wow word. So the words like wow, alas, oh, hooray, oh-ho. So these are the words or expressions with which we express like gestures like kindness or surprise or wonder, etc. So those individual words like wow, hooray, oh-ho, oh, alas, etc. These are called interjection. Clear? So it's not an interjection. Then of course it's not a noun, it's not a verb. So what is left out? It is a preposition. So all prepositions from, by, with, against, behind, under, above. So this is against, so it is obviously a preposition. Next is for questions 21 to 25, a sentence is divided into 4 parts. Mark the part that has an error. It's not jumbled words or sentences. Actually, this order is correct. The order in which the sentence is given, it is absolutely correct, but one of the parts, we have 4 parts A, B, C and D, and one of the parts has got an error and that part is to be chosen. That is the question. So here, climbing Everest is as much a historic journey, it is a feat of mountaineering. See, it is quite obvious that when you have a sentence, a single sentence, and when you say a single sentence, without using a comma here, you cannot use it is a feat of mountaineering. Plus, that's one reason. Second reason is, as much a if you have used as much a historic journey, one more as is to be used, which is missing in the third part. So obviously, the third part has gone wrong. So the correct version of the sentence is, this should go like this. Climbing Everest is as much a historic journey as a feat of mountaineering. So that it is, to replace it is, we have to use as. Okay. Next, also similar sentence where one of the parts had gone wrong. The actress was admiring at herself in the mirror. I guess you might have got this right. See, the actress was admiring at herself is wrong. We do not require any preposition in between. Instead, it should have been like this. The actress was admiring herself in the mirror. So this part has gone wrong. Okay. Now the next question, same way you have to solve. Priya's father insisted on her marrying the man of his choice. So here you may get a bit confused. Like very often this thing would come to our mind that most probably the C part has gone wrong. We will assume the sentence like this. We will take the sentence like this. Priya's father insisted on her marrying the man of her choice. That is what we assume. Actually, this sentence has got no error. Okay? The reason is, if you take the sentence, this is grammatically correct, it is meaningful, so there is no error. I'll tell you how it is. Priya's father insisted on her marrying the man of his choice means father's choice, not the girl's choice. So in that sense, this question or this sentence has got no error. Okay. Next is, this also a small, like you have to be attentive about a small word. You have to be cautious about a small word, and that makes all the difference. Beside, the problems faced by them do not always relate to money. So the first part, A part, the word beside, that has gone wrong. See, there are 2 words, I'll tell you that. Beside and besides, just the matter of adding one s and omitting s. But there is a huge difference between the two words in meaning wise. Okay, beside means by my side. A table was kept beside. That means I'm standing here. A table is kept by my side. She is seated beside. That means she is seated next to me or by my side. That is beside. Besides means along with that, apart from that. So this besides is what we require here. Besides the problem. Besides, the problems faced by them do not always relate to relate to money. So actually we require this word here. So in that sense, first option is where the error has been committed. Okay. Next is a positive attitude make the biggest difference. When you read this, you may get, oh, what is wrong with this sentence, isn't it? But there is something wrong. So which part might have gone wrong? See, this also is in accordance with the structure or that subject verb agreement. Okay, a positive attitude, singular, tense singular. A positive attitude makes the biggest difference. So it should have been makes, not make. For example, he runs away. With he, you should add s. Same way, this is singular. Same way, singular, add s. So the C part has gone wrong. I hope it's clear. Then we have questions from 26 to 30. Fill the blanks in the given sentences with most suitable pair of words. I'll tell you what, like when you get such questions, you try to match all the words in the respective blanks. Sometimes one of the words might be matching with any of the blanks, but you have to choose the pair where both the words are equally applicable in their respective places. Only that could be chosen as the proper answer. Okay. Now take the case of the first question here, 26th question. Over the next 2 years, the company will dash about USD 200 million in US dollar, 200 million in dash up technology and brand building. So let us match almost all the pairs and let us see which one is most applicable. Most applicable. Okay. Over the next 2 years, the company will indulge about, wrong. Because we always, just like I said, there are certain words with which the prepositions should be matching. Accused of, refrain from, reminded of. You remember that same example, right? Exactly same way. Indulge in, not indulge about. So in that sense, this cannot be taken since the first word is not a match. Okay. Then suppose we go for this. This also, the first one, pump about is wrong. Pump up, pump out is correct. So this also cannot be taken. So we have two more options: supply, hiring, invest and ramping. So let us see which is matching. Supply. Over the next 2 years, the company will supply about, of course, it is matching, and $200 million in hiring up. Do we use the term hiring up? With the word hiring, we do not use that term up. So even if the first word is matching or it is applicable for the first blank, since the second word is not applicable for the second blank, this also cannot be taken. So that leaves the last option, which is the correct answer. So where both the words are matching in the respective blanks. Now you read the question, you read the sentence. Over the next 2 years, the company will invest about, that is correct, $200 million in ramping up. That means boosting up. So in that sense, invest and ramping are equally applicable. So this will be the correct answer, not the other three options. Okay. Now next is, again you have to match all the options and find out which one is applicable. Okay. Like the state government has dashed the first solar policy which aim at dash the capital and environment friendly solar city. Okay. So here suppose if we choose the first one, the state government has declared the first solar policy which aim at establishing the capital. Actually, there is nothing wrong grammatically, but it doesn't make a sense. It doesn't make a sensible sentence. So in that sense, do not always go for the grammar part alone. For such questions, you have to read the whole sentence and find out whether it is logical, whether it fits logically and sensibly, not just grammatically alone. Okay. Now let us see the second one, which I guess, or else, okay, forget about the second one. This is the correct answer, of course. C and D, made, final. The state government has made the first solar policy which aim at declare. So the second one doesn't match. Then here also, final, the first doesn't match. So that leaves the second option, and these two words are perfect matches. I'll tell you how. The state government has approved. Instead of declaring, it is approval, or giving approval is more sensible and logical. So has approved the first solar policy which aim at making. Of course, an ing form is required there. Verb plus ing form is required. So in that sense, it must be making. So the second option is the correct answer. Next, the project has dash under fire for dash a vital elephant corridor in Kashiranga. Okay. Now, see, here if you match the pairs, the project has gone under. With has, of course, past participle must be used. So, gone is a past participle. So, in that sense, the first word can be accepted. So, we need a past participle form. So, this can be cancelled when it is not a past participle form. So, just skip that so that you can make choices among the first three. The project has gone under fire for destroy. We need destroying ing form. So this cannot be taken. What about the next? The project has come under fire for distracted. Again, no ing form. So obviously the correct answer will be the project has come under. This is past participle form, so this is equally applicable. Has come under fire for destroying. This is the correct one. Okay. Next is dash to a scientist. So when you read the first part, obviously you will be getting the answer according to a scientist. Not exclusive to a scientist, relating to a scientist, relying upon is to be used, not to a scientist, according. So obviously when you get the first answer, first option fits into the first blank, obviously this will be the correct answer. Okay. Next is one more similar one. Participative management, in which everyone has dash into a decision that a leader then makes, is a mechanism for dash employees. Let us match it with the options given. Share. Participative management in which employee has share into. Wrong. So this can be cancelled. Okay. Has value into decision. Again, wrong. Has input into a decision. Applicable. And has reward into. Wrong. So after analyzing the first option itself, it is obvious that this one will be applicable. This could be the perfect pair where both the words are applicable, or which could be used for the respective blanks. Okay. Next is questions 31 to 35. You have to choose the word. See, I told you, you have to read the instructions very carefully. So in the instruction it is given very closely that you have to choose a synonym similar in meaning. Like you have been given options like this. You have to choose the word which is very closest to the word pedestrian. That doesn't mean that other options will be totally wrong. Sometimes more than one possible options you will be getting, but as the question suggests, you have to choose the one which is closest to its meaning. So in that sense, sometimes even if you get more than one options correct, but you have to choose the exact one which is very close, okay, to the word which is given in the question. Like the first one, pedestrian. Actually the word pedestrian, we use that for people who travel on foot, right? Who walk on roads, we call them as pedestrians. Pedestrian crossing, etc. Those are the terms which we use. But pedestrian has also got the meaning of being very plain, ordinary. So the one which is very close to the word pedestrian in its meaning is the word ordinary. Okay, so other things are not applicable. Next is tenable. Here also, like tenable means see, steadfast or something which is quite delicate, sensitive, delicate. That is the first thing which comes to your mind when we speak about tenable. Then believable also is one of the meanings which you can attribute for this word, but the one which comes to your mind first, closest to its meaning to the word tenable, is of course delicate. So that is the correct answer, not the other options. Okay. Then apathy. Apathy, I guess in your syllabus also you have a term like this used in the textbook. Anyways, coming back to the topic, apathy means what it means and what it doesn't mean. Okay, so what it means is, of course, there is no doubt, it is indifferent attitude. Apathy is indifferent attitude. That means you do not show any concern, you're not bothered about, you totally are indifferent to a particular cause or event, and that shows your indifference, and that is what you call apathy. Okay, it's not being sad, it's not taking interest in something, it's not being experiential, it is just what you call totally indifferent. Okay, not bothered about a particular cause. Next is Vogue. I guess you might have heard of this magazine called Vogue. Just like we have Week, that periodical week, exactly same way we have a magazine called Vogue. The literal meaning of this word Vogue means literally means in fashion. So obviously the answer will be the second option, fashion. Vogue literally means, the word meaning is in fashion, being in fashion. So it's not about making noise or presence or inertia or anything like that. It's just being in fashion. So the second option is the correct one. Okay. Next is umpteen. Umpteen choices, umpteen options. Okay. So umpteen means numerous. Uncountable, numerous, various. Okay, it's not okay. I'll tell you one more thing. There is a spelling mistake over here. There is a printing mistake. Okay, and this option is actually clumsy, not chumsy. It is clumsy. CLUMSY, but that is not the correct answer. The correct answer is numerous. Okay, various. So clumsy actually rough, clumsy actually means something you handle very carelessly. Like sometimes you handle glass items very carelessly in an awkward way, something which you handle in an unusual way or awkward way, that is what you call clumsy. If I say that he has clumsy fingers, that means the way he handles glass items, there are chances that it would fall down and break into pieces. So handling something very carelessly or in an awkward way is what I call clumsy. So here that is not at all a meaning which you can give for the word umpteen. So umpteen means only one thing, that is various or numerous. Okay. Here, be careful when you get passages like this. So for grammar part, maybe that you will come across the right answer within seconds, but for passages, you read it first. After that, you may have to go back to the passage again and again, now and then, to get the proper answer. So passage, whenever you come across passage or whenever you get passages like this, always find time to read it at least 2 times. 2 times reading, minimum 2 times reading. Okay, and even after that also, when you come across questions, you have to go back to the passage again. Okay, so here this passage is all about being yourself, how you can make a balance in your life on your own. That is the key point in this particular passage. So in that sense, of course, I have given you the first answer. Making a balance on your own not an like established balance which you accept, not taking the course which everyone has taken. In fact, you decide for yourself, you create balance in your life on your own. That is what the passage is all about. So in that sense, this quote is perfectly applicable for this passage. So this is option number D. If you have any doubt, if you go through the passage again, of course you will find that these out of or among these quotes, the most appropriate one which you can feel as applicable to this one is the fourth one. Okay. Next is, which of the characteristics are apt about the writer in the following context? One statement has been taken separately from the passage. I know I have limits and that I have reached them, but I'm going to ignore them and say, if you if you don't want to go back to the passage, please you can go through these lines again. I know I have limits and that I have reached them, but I'm going to ignore them. First part, I'm going to ignore means I am trying to be negligent. The one who ignores things. Okay, least bothered. Then I'm going to ignore them and see if or how long I can get by with it. That means I'm least bothered about the consequence. So a person who is quite negligent and is least bothered about the consequences or outcomes, those people are not spontaneous or indecisive or patient or purposeless. In fact, they are reckless. So we have 2 points which could be used for the character of this narrator come writer. That is being negligent and being reckless. So options 1 and 4, it is C where you have 1 and 4, fourth point taken together. So this is option number C, which is the correct answer. Next is, which of the following will be the most appropriate title for the passage? I guess I might have given you in the beginning itself when we discussed about the type of passage it is. I told you, okay, it's quite similar. Let us see all the options. Which of the following will be the most appropriate title for the passage? Considering the whole passage, not just first paragraph or second paragraph. Okay, do not, whenever you choose a title for a paragraph or whenever you are asked to find out the message conveyed by the passage, don't jump into conclusion after reading just the first paragraph. Okay, read till the end, especially the last concluding paragraph is where you will be getting the clues. Okay, especially for conveying message. Now here, much too soon, it doesn't fit with the type of passage that you got. Then enough is enough. How much is too much? This is more applicable. How much is too much means it's a person who decides how much will be too much for me. That means like the balance of life in a person's life is to be decided by the person himself. If in my life I have to make choices, it should be like my decision, not anyone else's. Okay, that means it's not like nobody else will decide how much is enough for me. In fact, I will be deciding how much is too much for me. So in that sense, this is most applicable for the passage as the title. Okay. Then the phrase potentially harmful circumstances refers to circumstances that can. So for this, I guess you have to go back to the passage. See where you have come across, say, potentially harmful circumstances used in the first paragraph. In what context? The choices we make on a daily basis, wearing a seatbelt, lifting heavy objects correctly or purposely, staying out of any dangerous situation can either ensure your safety, like suppose if you wear seatbelt, if you lift up heavy things very carefully, that means you ensure your safety. Suppose if you do not wear seatbelt properly, if you lift up heavy objects very carelessly, harming yourself and others who are around you, that means you are inviting possible harmful circumstances. So let us see if there is a word like that. Possibly dangerous, isn't it? It's not certainly means damn sure. No. Be fairly dangerous also has similar meaning. Seldom be dangerous means not at all dangerous. So possibly dangerous is what we really require in context or like say in accordance with the paragraph that we have read right now. Select the option that makes the correct use of unsustainable as used in the passage. See, sustainable. sustainable means something which we can maintain in the same, or you call it as consistency. Your performance has been consistent. That means you have maintained that level. Suppose you have become the topper of the class this year, and next year also, or for the next exam also, you have become the topper. That means you have maintained that level of performance next year too, or in all the exams. So that is what you call sustainability. But what we have here is just the opposite, unsustainable. That means something which is not at all maintained in its particular level, unsustainable. So actually we use it in terms with a policy. It could be used in terms with or in connection with a system or a concept, idea, ideology, policies, etc., etc. So let us see where this word could be used. I told you right now, this word could be used in connection with a policy, a system, or an idea, ideology, etc., etc. Let us see if you have those things. Like in the long run, the dash officials, this is not an ideology, so this could be cancelled. Emergency procedures were dash by here also, it is not applicable. Officials, again not applicable. We need a system, we need a policy or an idea. So here the fourth one, officials admit that emergency system. We have a concept here. So in this blank or in this sentence, you can use that word unsustainable to make it a sensible sentence. And this word cannot be used for any other sentences given as options. Okay. The author attempts to dash the readers through this write-up. So what is the tone of the writer? That is the question. Okay. Is he rebuking? Is he scolding us for something? No. Is he like questioning the authority of anyone? Not at all. And is he offering help to somebody? Again, no. Instead, he is offering a piece of advice to the readers that you be yourself. You can decide the balance of your life. So it is a piece of advice given by the writer. So in that sense, it is option number D. Okay. Next is, what does the author mean when he says to get our lives in order? So without even going back to the passage, you know the term order. Order means to organize something, to bring in a kind of discipline, or you bring in a kind of something which is to be in proper order. Okay. So in that sense, to resume our lives is not the meaning of the expression. Okay. So to get our lives in order, to get our lives in a proper discipline or in an organized way. In an organized way. That means to organize our lives. Not to resume our lives, not to restart our lives. Resume means you stop something and you start again. So that is not resuming life, not to rebuild our lives, not to control our lives, but to organize our lives. Okay. Alright, now next is, what is the message conveyed in the last paragraph of the passage? So here the question is very clear. We are not talking about the entire passage. Instead, we are talking just about the last paragraph of the passage where the words are clearly given what really is the message conveyed by the writer, which is, of course, I told you repeatedly so many times that it is to be yourself. Not to, like, love what you do is given in the beginning of the passage, of course, but it is specifically given that the message conveyed in the last paragraph, not the first paragraph. Even if you find this word, this term in the first paragraph, in the last paragraph is where you get the idea of being oneself or to be yourself. So this is the correct option. Okay. Next is, choose the feminine gender of the word fox. Okay, just like, let me ask you another thing. For cats, we use, for male gender, we use tomcat, and what about female cat? Actually, they are called queen. Okay, so exactly likewise, we have the feminine, or you have to choose the feminine gender of the word or the animal fox, which is vixen. Vermin means insects or pests. Okay, then vampire, you know, and vermin means wild animal. Okay, ferocious and wild animal. Vampire, you would have seen that in movies, okay, where people come out of their graves and to go and suck blood, okay. So that is not at all a match. Next is, choose the option which best explains the word click. It is not C-L-I-C-K, click, no, which you know how to click a photograph, but here we speak about a word click with another, different spelling, C-L-I-Q-U-E. Of course, it shows a group. Click means a group, but what kind of group? In the group where people are similar minded, or people they have similar characteristic traits. So that is the meaning. So in that sense, I guess you can find out the answer very quickly. A defunct group means a dead group which no longer exists. Wrong, of course. A ruling military group? No. We are not talking about ruling group. And what about hosiery shop? Hosiery shop means what? The shops which sells socks, stockings, etc. Not at all a match. So of course it is a small exclusive group. That means in that group we will find people who have similar characteristic traits or like-minded people. That is the exact explanation of the word click. A group where people have almost same characteristic, they share same characteristic traits. Okay, next is find out the odd one out. You know what odd one out is? Like out of these words, one word doesn't match with the rest in the group. Like we have, this is rouge. You pronounce it as rouge, glow, sparkle, blush. Glowing, face glowing. That's when you are happy, where you sparkle, you glow, you blush. When you're shy, you blush. Sometimes out of extreme happiness also you blush. So these are the expressions which you have on face. Glowing face, sparkling face, blushing. But what about rouge? Rouge is the odd one out. This is the correct answer. Rouge actually is a cosmetic powder. It's a cosmetic which we apply to our face to make it blush or to appear it slightly, to make it red in color. Okay, so rouge. So this is cosmetic. All others are natural, spontaneous expressions on face. So this is the odd one out, or the one which doesn't fit into the group. Okay. Next, pick the correct meaning of the idiom from the answer choices. Okay. So actually the idiom is, he struck several bad patches. To strike, actually the idiom is to strike several bad patches. Okay, it's an idiom. So idiom will have a meaning which is not taken as in its literal sense. Don't go for word meaning for idioms. Okay, so to come across bad soil is no, not a match. Had a difficult and tiring journey. Sometimes you feel that this might be right because you might not be that familiar with this idiom, but this is also not the correct option. And went through many illness, physical illness. No. Instead, the correct option is to have difficulties in your profession or in your life in general. Two options are possible. One of the options is given to you as answer, that is to have difficulties professionally is the correct answer. But actual meaning of to strike several bad patches, the literal meaning, or not literal, sorry, the real meaning of this particular idiom is to have difficulties in our life or to have bitter or bad times in life. Okay, so when life becomes tough, bad, we call or we use this term he struck several bad patches, means he had difficult times in his life. But here particularly it's spoken about his professional difficulties. Clear? Now the last question is find the word with correct spelling. So here you know that you should know what the spelling is. Indigenous, this is wrong spelling. Indigenous wrong. This is also wrong. So this is the correct spelling of the word. Right? So we have discussed almost all the questions, and in between some small errors were there regarding the printing that would be corrected very soon. Don't worry about that. So hope this was a very fruitful session for you, and next time when you get questions like this, make sure that you're thorough with basic grammar, okay, and you also have fair knowledge about vocabulary, diction, the choice of words which you use, plus read the instructions given for the questions at least twice or thrice to understand what exactly is asked. Okay, so read the question, read the instructions thoroughly, and be thorough with basic grammar, and read as much as possible, and especially when you get passage based questions, read the passage at least 2 times to answer all the questions. Alright, so hope this session was fruitful. Thank you all, and good luck for the coming up exams. Thank you.